What's going on, everybody? This is Tampa Bay Cop Talk. I'm Darius.
I'm David.
I'm Andrew.
Oh, we are fired up. I mean, we were just having a rousing conversation off air because Liverpool are crap. The Premier League are crap. Everything is crap. But there's a chance that Liverpool might turn it around. And let's not go too far into getting our
David
hopes
is
up.
naive, Darius.
But we are recording this on Wednesday before the Tottenham game, round 2 at Tottenham. And Manchester United just lost to Sheffield United, who had all of 5 points through 19 games going in. And they now have 8 points. Okay, before we get into anything about Liverpool, guys, what the hell? This year in the Premier League, the top team can lose to the team that hasn't won a single game. We've seen that happen basically twice in consecutive weeks. Andrew, just what's your overall thought on how crazy this year has been?
I think we've alluded to it in previous podcasts. Obviously, I wasn't watching the Premier League in 1993, but this is apparently a normal, title league or a league year. Yeah, it's a normal year, so to speak. And, human beings that watch the Premier League need to recognize the greatness that they saw in the last few years in terms of Pep with his Man City, Fraudiola and his City, with the Centurion points and all that crap, and then us with the 96 points, and then whatever we finished last year, I don't even know. I've been drinking, kids. It is what it is. So those are what you call in statistics, or what I call anomalies. So in a normal year, this is probably what goes down. I mean, hell, the Invincibles, didn't they draw 12 games? I mean, obviously they didn't lose, but they drew a lot of games. So if they were invincible, you take those 12 games in a normal year. Prior to that, maybe teams won the title, but they lost instead of drew those 12 games. So maybe they lost 4 games. Maybe they lost 6. You see what I'm saying? So that's where it goes at. Obviously, I don't have the Opta, stats in front of me, but I would assume that, 80, 90-ish points would win you the league this year, and would win you the league most years, and I think that's going to happen this year. That makes me hella nervous. I don't know about y'all, but I love the 18-point lead, the 20-point lead. It does hell. It keeps my wallet in check in terms of my therapist. Keeps my nerves in check. I can eat what I want. My blood pressure is fine. I don't know how y'all doing. Did y'all get checked yet? Did y'all get the vaccine? I don't know, but I'm in line for that shit.
By the way, the Invincibles, they picked up 90 points that season. So Liverpool, each of the last 2 seasons, more points than the
exactly.
Invincibles.
So fuck them.
Well, that wasn't my point. My point was that the last 2 years of Liverpool football have been so exceptional.
Exactly.
Been so exceptional
to realize that
we are seeing a regression.
Wait. One last point, Derek, to add weight to it. So recently, if you are not from the Tampa Bay area, the Tampa Bay area plays a game called foosball, called American football. And they played, and they're now going to the Super Bowl, which is effectively the Champions League final. And we saw 2 great quarterbacks, which are basically 2 number 9s.
Where is this going?
You've had too much. I want to hear it. Let's go.
My point being is that you have to, as a viewer of the sport, you have to understand greatness and appreciate greatness and understand that it doesn't happen year after year after year after year.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Huh?
Unless you're Tom Brady.
My point being is that, look, man, appreciate the greatness between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Appreciate the greatness between the City team the last few years and the Liverpool team under Klopp in the last couple of years. And understand that I understand that there's COVID and all that other bullshit. But this seems, underneath the surface, it seems like a normal title winning year.
Okay, well, to your point though, looking at just appreciating greatness, we'll pull in the full football and I'll bring it full circle and get back to the footy. But for football, Tom Brady in the NFC, he has the same number of Super Bowl appearances as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees in the NFC. Tom Brady has been in the NFC for 1 season. So consistency, doing it year after year, is very, very tough to do, even when you are widely considered to be the best. So Liverpool, they're having a season where they went from just being one of the best teams of all time to now being middle of the pack among the top teams. David, we're seeing a regression to the mean for a team that has been so far and away one of the best teams, not just in England, but in all the world. And within that regression, we've also seen a goal scoring record that has been worse than what we've seen in decades. Honestly, you have to go back to really the 2005 team, somewhere around there, to the last time that Liverpool had been this bad with a goal drought. So where are you kind of reading things on the league table? Is it Liverpool in a down spot, but they're going to get back up and they'll be okay? Or is this potentially a trend? I mean, what do you think about the run of results for Liverpool?
I don't think it's a trend. I mean, look, I think we were always going to come down a little bit. The third year of intensity is always hard to maintain. We've said this before, and it's something that you saw with City last year. They only put up 81 points. They had injury to a key center back and filled that spot with midfielders. They, does this sound familiar, right? Like, so they struggled and we're struggling, and it's kind of normal. Then you're in this COVID year. You mentioned that the second place team loses to the bottom side today. Well, we lost to Watford last year, so that part is always kind of normal.
They were relegated.
Exactly. But the thing that I think is a little bit unique about this season is the amount of distance from, let's say, third to eighth is really, really tight. I mean, we're talking like 4 or 5 points between third and ninth, eighth or ninth. It's very, very tight in that middle portion of the table. So for the clubs battling out, not necessarily for the title, but those immediate third and fourth places, I mean, Arsenal's back in the mix now. I mean, they're only like 5 points off of it. Yeah, they're 5 points off West Ham right now.
I think they were 14th.
They were 14th.
Yo,
like
there was early in the season. They were picked to be relegation contenders.
Okay, no, they were never relegation contenders.
You're talking about West
Ham. Okay. Sorry. You're right.
West Ham, though.
There was a narrative. Yeah. There was a narrative that they could be.
That's banter.
It continued.
That's banter. Yeah. They were never going to be relegated.
Arsenal was never going to get relegated.
But to your point, though, West Ham, they're right there at what, 7th right now or 6th? Right behind Liverpool. Or excuse me, 4th.
They're ahead of us.
Yes, that's right, because they already played. Yeah. So that's the season we have. That's the season we got.
And it's that tight, jam-packed thing there. Like, if you don't come out on the right end of it, you could only maybe miss 4th by a point, but end up in 8th. Like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, that's a drastic drop in money. You don't even get the Europa League. So, like, when you go to sign players during the summer, do you think Kylian Mbappé wants to play for somebody who's not in the Champions League? No. Probably not.
I have a new a creed. Can all players adopt the Tom Brady diet? So we can win on those margins.
Is this going to be
those
your watch The Last Dance?
Am I putting up with this for the next 2 weeks until the Super Bowl?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Oh, go Tampa, baby. Jokes aside, yeah, it's difficult. All of what David said is right because he's the journalist of the group. So I just assume everything he says is researched and like meticulously read, like a Senate bill that has like 905 pages. And I love that about him. It makes me more knowledgeable. I love that. So, yeah, I'm just going to agree with whatever David said on that point.
Okay. That's fundamentally useless, but okay, thank you.
I just want to let y'all know if you're listening and you're like, oh, do I agree with? No, agree with David. Agree
with David. Okay, so this season, like we've kind of established how insane that it's been. So we look at a table that has had all of 9 different teams sit in first place at an end of a match day. So let's just go ahead and play it out real quick, and let's not pick any kind of position or anything like that. But just overall, what do you think we can take from this season when we come to the end of the year? We still have 19 matches left for Liverpool, so this literally is the halfway point as we're recording. What do you take away from this season? Whether Liverpool win it, whether Liverpool finish wherever they finish, what is going to be your takeaway from 2020, 2021, David?
I mean, a couple things. One, the league doesn't give a shit about players. VAR's fucked. But no, I think if we're just looking at, like, if I'm looking at Liverpool in particular, what I'm going to kind of take from it is I think the way that we've been designed to play, the system as it exists, is extremely reliant on just a few key players. And if you pull those key players out, it starts to fall apart. What ends up happening will come down to Klopp and how he manages it, what he does. Does the ownership make a move for a player this month? I highly doubt it. So it's really, I think, going to come down to how Klopp manages the next couple of months. And he's either going to be a stroke of genius, or it's going to be more frustration for him. This has been a really frustrating year for him, kind of uncharacteristically. Like, he has been not his usual joyous self. And I think actually he's struggling with the lack of fans as well. Like they all are. The whole club is.
Can't punch in front of the cop if the cop ain't there.
Exactly. And so I think it's kind of messing with everybody. And then, yeah, I think what we've really got to look at is the setup that we've built and designed is really contingent on Virgil van Dijk, for one thing. A lot of it does hinge on Jordan Henderson being in the midfield, but the absence of Virgil van Dijk has been soul crushing this season. And I think when we lost Joe Gomez as well, that was like you were already, your knee was hurting and someone shot you in the kneecap. Like that's what that was like. So I think we need to make some purchases in the summer, and I think we need to be able to play 2 or 3 different ways. This kind of getting locked into one setup thing, I don't think it's been necessarily good for us. And we've seen it at times in the past. Like Jordan and I always talk about it. He's played 4-2-3-1. He played a diamond in the midfield, like a 4-4-2 with a diamond.
Played 4-2-4 against City with Jota in there.
Exactly. Like he's shown different things, but we've just gotten locked into the 4-3-3, and we at present, I just don't feel that we have the personnel to play it because of the injuries. And so it's going to be kind of, how does he manage that? What does he figure out? Does it involve, I saw somebody saying, and I thought this was actually an interesting point, on tomorrow, play Henderson and Matip in the back so that you can move Fabinho out into the midfield. He'll protect Hendo, but Henderson has the pace to keep up with like a Son or whoever. Like,
he's not as rash as Fabinho, by the way.
And he's not as rash. Like, people complained about Sunday, the foul call against Fabinho. It's a foul.
It was a foul every day of the week.
He comes through the back of him. It's a foul. No, the whole thing with the placement of the ball, like, whatever. Those things happen. That's gamesmanship. But, like, it was a foul. Come on. And he's been guilty of rash challenges in the past. I wouldn't mind being able to move him back into the midfield. I mean, it would allow Thiago a lot more freedom to move up the pitch, where I think he can have a bigger impact. But again, this just comes into how Jurgen manages it. And I think when we come away from this season, you're going to go, so we can't, I don't know as we can go forward being as effective as we were, knowing that we're 1 injury away from,
well, really 2 injuries.
2 injuries away.
Sure,
but let's face it, though, when you damage a knee that badly, your risk of re-injuring it, or the risk of having issues where you have to rest it, you can't play as much. Maybe it affects your speed or whatever. Though all that's possible with Virgil. Joe, he's young, he'll probably recover, but he's had quite a few injuries now. It's not out of the realm that he could get hurt again.
Didn't he already do his knee as well?
Yeah, he had an ACL.
It was actually against Burnley. Was it the 20?
That was a broken leg.
18-19, yeah. Broken leg.
Yeah, but he had an ACL before that. So,
forgot about that.
And he's got this damaged tendon. So I'm like, oh, man.
3 major injuries in the first 5 years of your career.
Yeah. Now, granted, the broken leg's an impact injury. It heals, whatever.
Yeah.
No big deal. But that's concerning, right? And so now you're looking at it and you think, okay, so we definitely need some depth at center back. I think that we can all establish now, or we can all say now safely, like, not replacing Dejan Lovren was a mistake.
And can I just say what's so infuriating about that is that City did that the year before,
and
how do we not see the writing on the wall and look what happened to them? How do we not?
Fernandinho would be enough to fill in at center back.
And
how do we not see that? And knowing Matip's injury and as well as Gomez, although it was an impact injury, as you said, and that's a fair point.
This one wasn't.
This one was.
No, I know. I'm saying prior to
the recent one.
Yeah. So he had one when he was younger, I think the ACL, but then the Burnley one was an impact one. But the point being is that Matip and Gomez was suspect. Virgil, to be fair, you never thought he would have been injured because I think he literally played every game for like,
Well, let's face
a
it, he
million
wouldn't have
months.
been if Jordan Pickford hadn't made sure that he
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
It was one bad challenge. It's a freak
Exactly.
injury.
So I understand all that from the decision makers, but again, the writing's on the wall. Like I think it's kind of arrogance in not to look at your neighbors and think, oh, they fucked up there. Okay, let's not do that. And
I think
we
they
did that.
they prioritized getting the
Yeah,
left
and
back
that's true. And to be
because they
fair,
wanted to be able to give Robbo a rest.
yeah,
They
and
knew it
in
was
a
needed.
different year, we probably not make the mistake because of we probably have a little bit more money and
I mean,
so
that's
on
true,
and so
too.
forth. So,
But
right?
and they looked at it and they said, look, if needed, because they never thought, Fabinho and Gomez, or not Fabinho, Van Dijk and Gomez would go down. So they're thinking,
Fabinho, too.
well,
He went down earlier this season. Don't forget.
he did, yeah. But no, and they're looking at it going, okay, well, you've got obviously
No, but
Matip isn't reliable, but Fabinho can step in and deputize. But the thing is too is you might be thinking, well, Virgil could get hurt, but are we talking about like a hamstring strain and he's out for 4 weeks? Because you can
But even
weather the
though
storm.
no, but that's still stupid because if Gomez and Matip are injured, which is I think likely at the same time, who the fuck plays next to Van Dijk?
Fabinho was always
Yeah,
the
he was
play.
the fourth option
And
going
that's
in.
true.
That was foolish, right? Because we're seeing
And that's
now
what I'm
without him
saying.
in
That's
the
always
midfield.
foolish. And that's probably why Thiago was brought in because you think it's kind of like, okay, Thiago can play the 6 and the 8, and Fabinho can play the 6 and the center back, right? So it's kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone. I get all that.
Yeah, having players
again,
who are versatile enough to play multiple
But
positions.
again, back to American sports, defense wins championships. And we fucked up on that.
Well, kind of, right? But we haven't been bleeding goals lately. Our big problem has been scoring them.
So
No,
yeah,
and here's the
let's
thing.
get into that.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Barry. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say. Yeah, go ahead.
And the thing is, and that's ironic, right? Because it's one thing to lose 4-3 or whatever, and you would say, okay, we need a center back or whatever, right? Like we were before we bought Van Dijk, where we were scoring goals.
You could wrap your brain around what the problem was a lot.
My mom could see the fucking issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not to be sexist, but my mom's not a fan. So
She's not.
Whether it's my mom or my male cousin, they're both not fans. They would see the issue, right?
Yeah.
The point being, though, now it's more of chemistry. I think it's more of an issue. It's more psychological than anything because you have the defender out. He can't make those passes, right? And because of that, you have your midfielders are like, oh, shit. It's kind of like the Adrian situation where you have him in goal and you're like, a little queasy. I can't do this. I can't do that because I know Adrian's behind me. If I knew Allison, my boyfriend, by the way, if he's behind me, he's got that save. He's good. So in other words, the midfield's got doing X, Y, and Z, and they think, oh, we have Reece Williams or, oh, we have whoever. And we just can't press up. We can't move 5 yards up because of that.
I mean, it's that, but it's also like, it's not just that they're like safeguarding whoever's at center back. It's also the issue of like having to come deeper to get the ball.
Yes, all of it goes into it in terms of getting deeper, the not going up, the confidence,
and then you've got
playing
like
those passes
with
and
Trent,
so on and so forth.
With Trent, right? So he's not able to like just leave.
Dua Lipa.
You've got say he's got Reece Williams next to him, right? So he can't just leave him. He's got to kind of safeguard him as well, just like everybody else. The problem is those, and all right, so he can't necessarily get up the pitch as quickly because he's doing so much running back and forth. But let's say he is going up the pitch. One of the things that happens with Van Dijk is Van Dijk will ping that ball out to him wide, hit him in stride, right? Like you can get him going up the field at a certain rate. But when you've got, Nat Phillips or Reece Williams back there, they're not going to hit him with that ball.
And then that goes to your point of earlier where we have to change the system because obviously we can't play that way. Square pegs, round holes, whatever that phrase is. We can't play that way anymore. So whether
you still have the personnel for it, I don't think.
Exactly. So, and that's why we said on the earlier, and I've said earlier, like Klopp and the boys, and the Dutch guy and the Portuguese dude, they got to get to work. They got to figure something out. And United game, obviously we scored goals, Salah, and then Firmino's assist and all that. That was cute. But so obviously that's positive. It's not negative. But for me, It's one. I am in two minds about it. It's like, do we need something drastic? Like, I don't know, we go 3 in the back or something, like something super drastic, or do we just need like a baby tweak?
I mean, do they have 3 to put at the back?
Huh?
Well,
no,
here's
I know.
if you
No, my
do
point
this-
being,
so I have a 3
the
at the
3 at the
back
back thing was a
formation.
point of like dressed.
Well, I know, David, I know yours, and I'm not a fan of it at all. But go ahead.
But why not? Why not think about it? Just think about it a little bit.
tell us,
Because
David.
it's essentially what you're doing now,
tell
but
us.
you're getting Robbo and Trent naturally higher up the pitch without sacrificing too much defensively. And you're setting your 2 midfielders on each side of the central center back. Which
So what does
in
it
this
shake
case-
out to? Like was it like a 3?
It's like a 3-5-2.
Or 3-5-2?
Yeah, or it kind of looks like a 3-4-1-2 because you have Bobby
Yeah.
playing in kind of like the head of a midfield triangle,
Yeah.
if you will, like in the central of the park.
Okay, so all right, so we kind of get it. Like with your fullbacks, they go to wing back. Then you have your standard midfielders. You have your front 3. Who do you have as your back 3?
Well, in an ideal day, you'd have Matip, you'd have Fabinho and Henderson, right, on each side of him. So they you can match most players for pace with those 2. And then Matip is your experienced center back. I'm not saying it's a concrete plan, but I'm saying like those 3 should be able to handle most of the pressure that they would be put under. Also, they've been playing together for a while now.
Mhm.
Like the communication, I think, would be there.
Now,
Again,
I will
getting
say
Robbo high up the
that
pitch.
that's not a terrible idea from the standpoint of when Liverpool have the ball in attack. That's how they like to play. They usually go to something like a 3-5-3 or 3-2-5 kind of, where you have both the fullbacks joining up the front 3. They're all the way up there in the front of the pitch,
Your
and then you have your
central
2 midfielders.
sitting deep.
Wijnaldum on the left
Yeah.
and Henderson on the right, and they kind of go back into those fullback positions. And then, yes, obviously you have your back 2. So
it's kind of there, but
It's
what
similar.
I like about it, what I do like about it is pulling Mo and Mane off the wings. I
having
just
them tuck
think,
in.
having them more central from the beginning, like play closer together and be more central. Because I think one of our problems is in the attack. We're sitting here having this conversation about how we can't score goals,
Mhm.
and what do we see? Every time we get them the ball, they're cutting in on their foot. Everybody sees that it's coming. They can't get a shot off that's not got
Guys.
feet in front of it.
Guys,
In addition to that,
wait, and easier, probably like from a mental standpoint. That's probably drastic, right? That's going from like 9
these are
days.
professionals.
Hold on. What I'm suggesting, because I watched a video about this earlier, because I was curious about Steven Gerrard and what he's doing in Scotland. The dude is playing with 2 number 10s, bro. He's got basically, instead of winger, he's doing a 4-3-3, according to this video. And because obviously I've never watched a Rangers game in my life. But the 2 wingers, Mane and Salah, they're basically number 10s. They're playing more narrow. And that's allowed them to play better against low block sides. And that for me as a 4-3-3, that maybe is less cognitively draining, so to speak, as opposed to a completely new thing.
I mean, I don't.
In other
know.
words, that could produce results quicker than implementing a new system. That being said, they also have days of work because listen, we're not in the League Cup, we're not in the FA Cup, and yeah, we got days of work.
All right. So how about this?
That probably negates my point a little bit. But
so one thing that I've been thinking is you don't necessarily have to change from the 4-3-3 to change up what you're doing. I've been thinking, and I've heard this from a number of people. You put Salah at the 9 instead of having Firmino in that position because, to be completely honest, when you see Thiago out there playing, he and Roberto Firmino become a bit redundant because both of their jobs is to what? Get the ball, move forward, and to play kind of as your number 10. So if you have Minamino, say on the left, and then on the right you go Mane, and then your number 9 becomes Salah, that's much more of a true 4-3-3 with 3 strikers, 3 attackers, instead of one of them needing to link play. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah,
at this point, sorry, go ahead, David.
Yeah, I'm open to something like that. I mean, I think you could also just it's not like this team hasn't played 4-2-3-1 before. So you could just go back. You could just go back to that. But I do like the idea of getting Mo Central as your center forward.
Wait, can we go back to stats? Do you have the stats on that though, in terms of like Salah playing in the number 9 and how many what's our goals or whatever?
I can't give you the stats off the top of my head, but I can certainly tell you that, especially last year, and the year before, when Salah was put in the number 9, I can think to games like the hat trick he had at Bournemouth. He was playing number 9 in that game. Like
Right.
that was when
down the back of the
Liverpool
leg.
were playing their 4-2-2-2-2-2 type situation, but he was the most central man and he was up front. And when he is put in that number 9 position, he takes his chances better than Firmino on goals. So it just makes sense. He's more of a true striker, a true number 9 than Firmino.
That's not up to debate. I was just curious.
He doesn't, and he becomes more unpredictable, right? Because he's going to get on his left foot, but you don't exactly know how.
And that's the thing. When he's in that central position, it's not just cutting in and you just play to your right as a defender, take away his left foot, and now what is he going to do?
But
maybe
guys,
he sends in a banger,
all this can be solved. I mean, I love this tactic thing. I mean, I feel like Rafa Benitez talking about tactics, like he did that press conference. We're here to talk about tactics, or no, jokingly. David, your idea about all that for a man who doesn't get paid to think about football, fantastic, I love it. However, it can be all solved according to the fans across the world if we just buy a fucking center back. Can we just do that?
All right, we'll get into the center back. We'll get into the center backs. We'll get into the center backs.
I can call West Fargo. I got a homie that works at
who's West Fargo?
What's it called?
Wells Fargo.
What I say?
That's your homie Wes.
Whatever.
Kanye don't ask Wes for no money. He's gonna come back for it.
I can call Kim. I got that. I got the contact. I got the speed dial right here on the phones.
All right.
I got it. We can get the loans.
Last thing though, before we get into the obvious of they just need to buy a center back. When you look at this team, what one thing do you think is the most crucial thing based off of all the players you have available? And we'll throw Jota in the mix because he'll be back in a couple of weeks. What do you think is the one thing that Liverpool can do right now or in 2 weeks to kind of get right? Andrew?
I mean, Subotic, he's free.
A player that's currently on Liverpool's roster, please.
No, Subotic, Nevan Subotic. He played for Klopp at Dortmund. As
of right now, as of recording.
Oh, right.
What tactical move can you make?
That's
sorry, going
to talking about something else.
Get Liverpool going in the right direction. We're getting to center backs next segment. We're taking a break before we go to center backs. All right.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know because I'm not there. But I will say this. I've been saying this all year. They should be angry right now where they are on the table. I mean, if Klopp and Klopp doesn't need to do anything to get them motivated. However, if they need some motivation, there's that thing on Netflix. It's that Last Dance, baby. I'm telling you. That's it. You just got to be crazy and you just got to win this thing.
Wait till he finds out that Tom Brady has a documentary.
I got nothing. I got nothing in terms of that. I mean, I really don't know because we've already talked about it. What are we going to do with these players?
I do like the idea of Matip and Henderson together so that you can free up Fabinho to go back into the midfield. I do like that idea. I think also, James Milner was fucking fantastic on Sunday. Like he was probably one of our best players in the game. Yeah.
Solid, yeah.
And making runs all over the place.
Yeah.
And he's got that leadership, right? So maybe, a little bit more James Milner involved wherever. I don't really care where.
Are you going Brexit midfield? Is that what you're talking about?
No. You could here's the thing. Maybe get creative. Maybe Trent needs a change. And we've talked about him being a midfielder in the past. Sorry.
Yeah.
But no, you put Trent forward up in the midfield so that he can try something different, play a little bit different. I think one of the things we've got to do is be a little bit more free. Like just take the chains off. They did it a little bit on Sunday, right? Or they were like, let's just see if we can play like ourselves and go score some goals. And they did it. And if you do that, it may not be perfect defensively, but let's face it, we're down Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. We ain't going to be perfect defensively. We've been as close as we can be to that, but what we've sacrificed is sort of the goal scoring identity and the attacking play that we've always, that's made this team what it is.
Right.
James Milner can play right back. He can play all over the pitch. So you've got this Swiss Army knife. Use him where you can, and free up other players to do other things. I'm not saying put him at center back so you can move Fabinho out. And the other thing is honestly, I think there's going to come a point because I don't think I'm predicting right now, watch, we're not going to buy anybody. And February 7th, we're going to play City and Joel Matip's going to get hurt in that game and be out for a month. Great. So then what? Well, I think at that point, you're just going to have to play one of these guys and accept it just accept it for what it is. Unless you're going to change the system and go to a 3-man back line where you can do Fabinho, put Hendo on one side and like either drop Robbo deep and have him play the left back, or do James Milner or something, or get creative. Unless you're going to do that, you're just going to have to play one of these kids at some point.
Right.
I think that might be in our future, unfortunately.
And that got me thinking in terms of goals, though. I mean, you said all the points about from the defensive side of things. What does Minamino have to do to get a game? He played well against Palace before Christmas, and obviously we don't know all the information. But for me, if somehow we can incorporate, I would rather have him on the pitch.
I don't know what's going on
over Shaqiri at the moment. But that's
I agree with that.
Certainly over Origi, but over Shaqiri. Shaqiri has been playing.
No, I'm saying
well.
He's played okay, but has he really made like a?
He's played okay when everybody else is playing like crap. So I'm gonna say he's played pretty well.
My point is that I think him and Bobby can do things on the pitch. Although they're similar type players, I think maybe they can do something and do something unpredictable, and we get some goals, and then we do the thing, and then we clap our hands, and then we continue.
All right. Well, it's time for us to take a break, but I'll leave us with this, because I think getting Jordan Henderson back in the midfield is one of the most important things that Liverpool can do. So these are the stats coming into the season. So as of the start of the 2020 season, from 2018-19 on, so for 2 seasons, with Jordan Henderson starting, Liverpool, 65 games, 48 wins, 11 draws, 6 defeats, all competitions. Without Jordan Henderson, 43 games, 29 wins, 5 draws, 9 defeats. And you think to this season, Burnley, no Jordan Henderson. And Aston Villa, no Jordan Henderson. Maybe, just maybe, Jordan Henderson, kind of important. So we'll discuss the whole center back thing.
He's Liverpool's Tom Brady.
Yes, the Tom Brady of Liverpool. He worked in another Brady reference.
Take the break.
All right, we need a break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to talk about the center backs.
Oh my God, he's Liverpool's Tom Brady.
All right. And that was actually from the event that we had for Liverpool and Manchester United. That was a really nice day. That was a really cool thing that we were able to do. And guys, just real quick, just some of the money we've been able to raise and donate for local charities this year. I just want to say I'm proud of what we've done. So, I mean, appreciate all the efforts that you guys, and Jordan, he's not on the call, but his efforts as well.
Big thanks to everybody who came out, donated, gave food, whatever. Man, it's been a great year for us in terms of like we've exceeded our own expectations for what we would achieve in terms of, donating and giving to charity and even having just events like that. We had, I think, 450 or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really, but I'm just asking, but it's a nice crowded room venue. So it was all in all really successful. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, it's just fantastic to see the people coming out and realizing that, this is a good cause to donate to and what we've been doing, and just believing in us too, because, we're just some guys and they could think that we're crazy people, and they're like, yeah, we trust them. Yeah, it's all good. And we're able to do the right thing. Right. So, yeah, it's an amazing turnout, and credit to everyone that's come out and done that either virtually or in person.
Mm-hmm.
We don't discriminate. Obviously, we love it both. You do your thing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that had you told me last year that F it before December we would have raised over almost 600 pounds of food in one event, mind-boggling considering
All
the
right.
circumstances we go through or that we've been going through. So it's fantastic. And hopefully we obviously continue to keep going more.
Yeah, hopefully more to come. All right, so back to the football. We have the situation that it feels like everyone around the world is an expert on, saying the most blatantly obvious thing. Liverpool need to sign a center back. Well, yeah, no, of course. But when we look at this, we've had news come out over the last couple of days that I actually do find to be kind of interesting. Liverpool were initially linked and then went quiet, but it turned out they actually did offer David Alaba, who is up with Bayern Munich at the end of the season. Real Madrid have stepped in and made the offer that it looks like Alaba is going to accept. And they were also interested in, I'm going to get the name all kinds of wrong, but the homie was over there at Arsenal, the center back.
Sokratis.
Yeah, Sokratis. Because Sokratis, I cannot get his last name, but yes, there have been a couple of center backs who Liverpool were not just linked with, but reportedly did offer. So as the talk goes that we're, all three of us and Jordan included, we're all skeptics that Liverpool are going to actually go and do the business. But does this news that they actually made offers, does that give you a little bit of hope or a little bit of maybe they will do the thing?
What
Andrew?
question real quick? Alaba, was that for the summer or was that for now?
That was for now, and this was reported by Fabrizio.
No, that doesn't make
Romano,
sense because then we would have had to pay Bayern. We were offering to pay Bayern for now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Offering to buy him, not to get him on free. Right.
With Sokratis, I think we just made a call. I don't think it was an actual offer tabled because I think he probably would have came. But the problem is that he would want 100K a week.
Yeah, not at
they
not
weren't
at that
going to
price.
do that.
Yeah.
No, not just that, but I think he probably already had a. I'm not sure, but he probably had a thing going on with Olympiacos beforehand.
Yeah.
We probably.
Yeah, I'm sure that discussion had been had. But if he's being offered a chance to play at Liverpool, I'm sure over Olympiacos. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wants to go home or something, but
yeah, maybe 32. He probably has kids.
Yeah, he's probably got a couple of years left in the tank. It's not a big move to take your kids 2 hours north, on the train. So
maybe the kids don't know Greek. Who knows? Been there, done that.
But is it encouraging? I mean,
no, it's not. I don't give a fuck.
Really.
It's not encouraging. Hold on, Dave. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Wow,
it's not fucking encouraging.
Punch.
It's not encouraging because until the shit is done over the fucking line, it's not encouraging. I don't want to hear.
I agree.
I don't want to hear encouraging. I don't want to hear. Oh, but if second place, nah. Ricky Bobby said it best. Second place is the first loser. Get the fuck out of here.
Guys, were we not sat here like 6 months ago when they were linked with Thiago and then the reports came out, they don't really have that much money. And then we went all into depression mode like, they're not going to sign Thiago. They're not going to sign anybody.
Darius,
and then they went and signed Thiago.
Darius,
did that not happen?
Right.
Did that not happen?
Yeah. Darius, you got to be patient.
I wasn't.
Baby, you got to be patient with me.
I mean,
you got to be patient with me because I was finna get there. Hold on. Just wait. Press pause. I'm getting there. And that's the only thing. Barring last minute dramatics, which is not usual for this quote unquote administration in the Liverpool hierarchy. Barring that, I don't see us doing anything because I obviously I would have preferred something done January 2nd.
I mean, but once Joe Gomez went down, it should have been like, hey, we need a center back in.
Yeah, they should have been making calls. They should have done the Google searches. They should have done all the things.
Pre-agreement, sure. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But unless, I guess I'm gonna tune into NBC on deadline day and be like, oh, what's Liverpool?
Well, you can just watch it on Twitter. You don't have to give them.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But the point being is that I have no faith, but it's just frustrating. But
you never have faith about anything.
No, I know. But here's the finance. What we've talked about in the WhatsApp group about the finances, about the bullshit of Henry taking like his Red Sox. Okay, they have the Red Sox. Okay, they do the thing, but it's all sustainable. I'm all about that because like me and finances, we're good. We're best friends. But at the point we argued in our group is like, listen, if we keep going this way, we're gonna get outside top 4. And think of the financial hit. Klopp's argument should be like, bro, we pay this motherfucker 100 grand a week. We pass Leipzig in the Champions League, we get our money back. Simple as that.
Well,
As an example,
winning those things would pay for it.
Exactly.
And
in
here's
other
the
words, it
thing.
pays for itself, right?
With
It's
Sokratis,
why you get a Sam's Club membership, because you get the gift card and then you get the free gas and blah, blah, the cheaper gas and blah blah blah, right?
with Sokratis, right? Like, I think if Klopp said like, "Hey, I've worked with this player before. I want him. Make it happen." I don't think anybody in the front office is like, no, because it's a free transfer, and even if it does cost 100 grand a week, like you said, if it makes Klopp feel like, if he comes to him and says, "Hey, if you get me this, I'm a lot more confident we're going to get top 4."
No, but I disagree.
I really don't think that is the case. I think with him in that one specific instance,
maybe.
I think he's looked at it and said like, it's not what I need. Because look, he needs somebody with pace. Sokratis doesn't have pace.
Because here's the thing.
Somebody with kind of the ability to pass the ball out of the back. He doesn't have that.
Here's the thing.
So he's basically an old Nat Phillips. Right?
He's not a ball-playing center back. He's not.
Hold up. No, the reason why is because I think this hierarchy, the people in charge in terms of the transfer committee and so on. Remember the stories we've heard, we've read, whatever. Klopp didn't want Salah. He was overruled.
Yeah.
We bought that motherfucker, and obviously we happy for that, right? Klopp made it. He got it wrong in that sense, so to speak. Now, mind you, in this COVID year and this and that, blah, 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 I give you a maybe for that. But my concern is that this hierarchy is like, no, we're sticking to our principles no matter what. It's kind of like those teams that take analytics too far, where they're in the last game of their season and they're like, you know what? This analytical bullshit has worked for every game up until now, when we're going to keep doing it. And then when it doesn't come off, then the narrative afterwards is like, oh, they shouldn't have listened to analytics. They should have done the
okay. I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But the analytics push, it's also, you have to remember, analytics, all it is just a spreadsheet. All it is just information. How you interpret the information, how you use the information, that's still on the decision.
And what I'm trying to, and what I'm getting to about analytics is what we've heard already, is that they don't want to do a short-term thing. It doesn't, blah, 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 doesn't confirm with our long-term strategy.
Let's go into that then. Because I disagree. I disagree with that point. Because I think the long-term strategy is to win football games and to be profitable. And if you're going based off of that, this is an instance where buying a young center back who's going to be good in 5 years isn't the play. The play is to improve right away. So if you're going off of the principle of looking at long-term gains, well, right now you need that short-term gain to make sure you're still going in the trending upward direction, which means if you are going off of the standpoint that Liverpool and FSG continue to rise, they want to keep getting the profits up, you have to almost invest. There's no way to
say that you're wrong.
Listen for a second. You have to succeed, because the only form of revenue right now is the fucking TV money, right? Because you're not getting anything off the gate receipts,
right?
So it's the competition prizes.
Finishing higher is the only way to get more money.
It's still literally the only thing that you've got.
But
the Nike money is based on sales. You're only going to get sales if you're in the Champions League.
Listen, guys, not that you're wrong, but the fact that we haven't done anything proves that, or shows that maybe you might be wrong. And that's what I'm trying to get at.
James Pierce's article, I think the day before last, said that people lower down the chain. So not necessarily people in the money chains, or people in the chain of discussion about money, but in the recruitment team, in the analytics team as well, have said we need to buy a center back. That needs to happen, because we don't have the personnel to do this thing, to make our system tick over like it's supposed to.
Right.
But apparently people higher up in the thing are basically saying no, or that they're not going to do a big deal in January, right? My beef with it is like we've talked about the money, so let's put dollar values on it. How much do we lose if we say finish 7th? What's the difference between 7th and finishing, let's say, 3rd? I'm pretty sure it's like 40 million pounds.
It's a significant amount.
It's a lot
that's
of money.
some monies, yo. That's a lot of Super Bowl tickets.
So let's say you get knocked out in the last 16 in the Champions League because you didn't buy a center back and you had to play Reece Williams because Joel Matip got hurt, blah, 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 whatever. Let's just say, how much does that cost compared to what you could have done? You could stand to lose like up to, I think it's like 20 million pounds over the course of the thing.
I don't disagree with you.
So, no, I know you don't. I'm just kind of reiterating the point in a different way. But like, so if you're going to lose potentially up to 50 to 60 million pounds, how much does a center back cost? Because the more you talk about possibly losing, the more you can justify spending a greater amount of money. And I'm not even saying that I'm open to the idea that you got to sell to buy, but then you got to sell something that people actually would want.
So no one has money. That's the point. So here's the thing.
That's not totally true. Some clubs still have money. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like rampant money or a lot of clubs don't.
There's a lot of clubs who are going through shortages. Barcelona are about to default on their payments for
no clubs have money.
There's a lot going on.
That's
more to the point though.
Sure.
No clubs have money that meet our valuations. That's why we didn't sell
that's
those
another
motherfuckers
problem
in the summer.
And
hold on a second as well. Damn, I'm gonna blame the governments on the Western Hemisphere and on the Eastern Hemisphere. It's up to your imagination to decide who I'm talking about, because clearly it's a future game. It's a speculation game in terms of the people in the higher up. Like the reason why we're not spending the money now is because it's consumer confidence. It's saying, okay, it's basic economics. Like we don't have the confidence of like buying these product goods and services, so we're just not going to do it. So in other words, if shit got better in terms of this pandemic situation, in terms of there was overall health in the economy, then you would say to yourself, you know what? It's going to get better by June. All right, we good. We can spend that money. But the thing is, we don't know. And also to Darius's point, as well as other clubs, we've seen Barcelona, perfect example, how they gone down the roller coaster. They went down like before you go up. You know what I mean?
Most of the top teams have seen they're going to lose. I think the figure was the top 20 teams in Europe are going to combined lose $2 billion.
That's a lot of moolah.
That's not an insignificant.
That's $200 million. If there's 20 teams, it's $200 million.
Right. But coming back to David's point, you do have to kind of get into a mindset. You got to spend money to make money. Scared money don't make no money, especially in a time like this where you don't have the fans to rely on. You don't have people with disposable income in the same kind of way. So the TV money is really your biggest source of income. It goes from being 40%, 50% to possibly 70%, 80% of revenue for next year. So when you're looking at it that way, the competitive side has to take precedent.
You are spending money.
Right.
Yeah, but guys, we've already seen it, bro. Like, look at what we did in the fall. We paid for Thiago and Jota on bus fare money because we organized those deals, right? So who's to say then, based on those deals and how we behaved in that market, who's to think that we all of a sudden have money to spend? Now,
or who's to say that they couldn't do that again?
You were creative
again, baby.
once.
Patience. I'm trying to get there. Maybe we could do that again, but clearly everyone knows our number. Everyone's like, bitch, you need a center back.
Right,
you want 10 million? Nah, psych. I'm going to charge 25.
Well, that's a point that I was going to bring up. That's why you can't go and get someone like Upamecano right now. You cannot go and get the target that you want because you're not going to get them at the price that you want. But for a stopgap, that's a little bit different. For someone who's going to be like if he is a Sokratis, like obviously you wouldn't want that to be the decision. But if that's the person that you're going to get, short-term Band-Aid.
Yeah, they're making a big mistake, bro.
Could be able to swing that.
Because if Klopp and the boys don't turn around, we're looking at like 6th in the Premier League or 5th, and then we lose on our big targets or whatever, or we spend a bunch of money and then we fuck up, and then X, Y, and Z happens.
Right.
And that's not the world that I want to live in, man.
And let me ask you this: how are you gonna feel? How are you gonna feel if they don't do anything? Right? Let's just say we managed to finish 4th, but so it's like a miracle. Squad pulls a miracle out of their ass. They finish 4th.
I don't think it would be a miracle to finish 4th.
Well, it's not a miracle to finish 4th, but let's just say they pull
they overachieved what they did in the first half.
Well, let's say they pull a miracle out of their ass and finish 2nd, because I think that would be a strong, really result, and not necessarily a miracle, but whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's say they do it, and we get the Champions League money, and we get a significant amount of Premier League money, and they go and buy Mbappé. right? And you're gonna blow that kind of money, right? You're gonna tell me that you couldn't have 6 months earlier dished out 30 million on a center back?
Well,
and my point is like I'm still
David,
willing.
David, then the conversation would become: would they be able to afford Mbappe if they went and got that center back? Because that's now the math that you have to do on that.
Let's stop that nonsense.
All right, so let's ask that question. Let's ask that
happens.
question, Andrew. If you had the decision between getting a center back now, who's okay, not the best in the world, but he's okay, and he's certainly going to help Liverpool as a stopgap, or you can't do both, or you get Mbappe / Erling Haaland, one of the two of them. Which do you choose?
If you asked me at the end of February,
I'm asking you right now, bro.
I know. I'm
asking you right now.
I'm trying to answer the damn question.
I know.
Because now
it's a Sophie's choice. Answer the question.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna take it as disrespect. So
no, it's not disrespect on you. It's
the point being is that it's difficult to answer because for me, obviously we're playing bad, so obviously the emotion.
Give me a motherfucking center back. That's the
exactly.
answer.
But
so you're passing up on Haaland, passing up on Mbappe.
You know why?
If Klopp does his thing, though,
you just mentioned how much money.
I feel like that's short-sighted.
No, but you just mentioned how much money Real Madrid's losing. You just mentioned how much money Barcelona's losing. You know who's probably not moving to a Spanish side anytime soon? Mo Salah. Because how the fuck are they going to afford him? Unless they just go down in the basement.
You're being naive, though. He wants to go there. It's a dream. How's he
going to get there? He's still going to cost 140 million.
My other point, though.
No, fucking the King of Spain will give them a fucking.
Then fine, you take the money and reinvest it.
Well, I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying because I think you're assuming that you would have to sell Salah to bring in one of those guys.
Like in your scenario, we don't have to. But that's the reality situation.
Well, how do we know? How do we know what the reality of the situation is?
Because of the finances, because of the economics.
No, we know the
finances
numbers
just came out. We're one of the richest clubs in the world. So don't give me that bullshit. Like
but again, those are old numbers. We don't know what the numbers are right now. We don't know what their bank accounts look like.
Numbers for another year. This year's numbers.
We're looking at old numbers. So anytime we're basing off of the numbers, it's kind of a moot point. It doesn't really reflect what's going on right now.
No, but my thing is
we don't know what's going on until they make a move.
If we don't, I'll say this: if this year wasn't COVID, Mo was gone in the summer. That's
why are you convinced of that? Why?
I'm so convinced of that because there's no.
No, I think he was going to do one more year.
No, his salary or his resale value is no higher than at that point.
I mean, maybe, but what if he would have won the Golden Boot this year? Which, by the way, he still could do.
It's not going to go down a whole ton this year.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that it goes down a ton or anything like that. I'm just saying that in a non-COVID year, we probably would have loaded him off in the summer.
I don't think so.
And I still think we might do this summer. I done asked y'all, or you were there, David. I asked several people at the last game, hey, who do you get rid of, Mane or Mo? And I'm in the minority here, but a lot of people were saying they keep Mane.
Yeah, I was one of them.
I know you were one of them. I'm just saying, like, for me, my mathematical brain is like, nah, dude, you keep Mo. But then my heart is like, oh, but I like Mane. He's so nice. I like him. So
my question originally, though, was if you had to pick somebody to sell, don't worry about the fact that, like, you know, the market is what it is, because teams will find money if they want. A lot of teams don't have the problem that we have where, like, the owners aren't willing to borrow money. Or or the owners aren't willing to inject cash themselves.
Yeah, their owners are rushing.
Those are the broke boys, but continue.
So let's just say you had to sell somebody in the squad. Like, that's what I'm curious about. To raise the funds to get you a center back.
Isn't it obvious? It's Origi, 1,000%.
So how much do you get for Divock Origi?
I mean, before COVID, you probably get 25. Now you probably get 15, 17.
So, okay, you've got 15 to 17. Is that enough to address your problem?
1,000%.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah. I think
what center back are you getting at 15?
No. Not someone you want. Not someone you want, but you get someone for like 3 years, 2 years. You get an old dude. I don't know. Maybe you get a motherfucker on loan. Hey, tell Real Madrid we'll pay you $2 million for Militao. I don't know. Loan fee. I don't give a shit.
Right. So I think that, but Andrew, like with what you're saying, I think that's where a lot of fans are. When we think it out, we get to a point of like, I don't know, just do the thing, make a deal.
But it's not that easy.
But when you talk it out, if you assume that what they're saying, but when you assume that what they're saying that, well, the money isn't there, the funds aren't there, or hey, there's something big coming in the summer, when you throw that into the equation, then it becomes, well, damn, I don't know how you get it done, because if we try to sell Origi and Shaqiri, they're not getting the money back that
you sell them
we're
both,
expecting for them. You could sell them both, but you're going to get way less back for them. And just because you sell them at a lower rate doesn't mean that the center back you want to buy is going to be given to you at a lower rate. And
here's the problem. One of the things we keep talking about, valuations, people aren't going to meet our valuations. Anything you want to sell is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. So you've got to be more realistic with your valuations. Like,
and maybe Edwards is arrogant now.
Marco Grujic said it himself when he just did an interview a couple weeks ago, and they asked him about, you know, his future and everything, and he said, I really don't know. I don't have a clue what Liverpool wants to do with me. I know they wanted to sell me in the summer, but their asking price wasn't realistic for a player like of my age and my experience. This player knows it, that his price is overinflated. So to me, like,
and that's
got to get more in touch with reality about what.
And that's the arrogance that which comes based on our business model of, yo, we're sustainable, blah blah blah, which sounds great. It sounds great if you're doing a fucking Whole Foods farm.
Is that
sustainable
arrogance?
Food? Great.
Is that arrogance, or is that just an over reliance on the model? Because
because
the reason why I say that is because if there's another club and they're not reliant on that, then they say, well, whatever, we'll just take whatever we can get. But Liverpool's system is set up so that we have to sell this guy at this point and have to sell this guy at this point to be able to buy that guy. And if that's what's happening right now, where Liverpool would have bought an Upamecano, but they can't afford him because it was not enough from that guy, not enough from that guy, not enough from that guy. Maybe that's what we're looking at right now. Maybe that's the situation Liverpool are in, where they would have done the deal, but they couldn't get those sales through because everyone else is bleeding.
You should have just done the damn deals, because now you're going to end up having to figure out what to do with Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, and whoever the fuck else.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's like selling. Look, it's like selling used stuff, right? You know, you got to sell it at the right time, because if you wait too long, the fucking thing drops in value.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
and so for Grujic, for example, let's assume he does fantastic at Porto. Maybe he goes up in value by £5 million. Okay, fantastic. But if he drops by 15, then you fucked up a little bit, didn't you?
And maybe you should have just sold him
and sold it for less than 10 what you want back.
Well, exactly. On a day where we're seeing GameStop go up to $350 on the stock market.
Well, hold on.
Yes,
how do we buy
the principles of how to sell and when to sell? Yes,
Where do I get my Marco Grujic shares?
Let's go back to Grujic, though.
Oh, we're going back to Grujic. Okay.
He's part of the fam.
Okay.
Part of the family. He's in my car. He's part of the family.
They insulted your brother.
I'm just going to say I'd sell Naby Keita, man.
No, we could talk about that on this podcast, guys. David wants to sell Naby Keita, but I'm just saying the point.
I said I would have sold.
I think we all kind of agree, though.
I wouldn't be
the business model, maybe again, humans are behind these decisions. They are not perfect. They are not philosopher kings, and so on and so forth.
All right. Well, I'll ask this, and we'll leave it alone, and we'll actually talk about the game that's upcoming.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather be where Liverpool are, where you're financially solvent and in a good standing, but struggling a bit right now, or would you rather be Barcelona or Real Madrid, where you're top of your league, but you might go bankrupt? Which would you rather be?
I mean, it's not even close. It's us. I'd rather be us.
Andrew?
No, and you know what? It's just so stupid to me about Barca. I'm like,
because I'm asking, because the way that I hear everyone talk about Liverpool and where they are right now, it sounds like you'd rather be in Barca's shoes. But
there's a lot.
That's why I asked.
There's a huge expanse between those two, and I'd kind of rather be like,
somewhere in the middle, sure.
Maybe somewhere a little bit here. Yes.
Yeah. Two things, unless some shady shit happens where like Club de Barcelona receives like some like shady government funds. If that were to happen, then I'd be like, oh, I can be Barcelona. I'm cool with that. But in reality, the situation is like, no, we'd rather be Liverpool, because what's going to happen in Barcelona is they're going to go through the United Arsenal phase where they're just going to drip. And that's going to happen.
Yeah, let's not forget how close were Liverpool to administration before FSG took over. Like, that shit wasn't that far behind us. That's a decade ago.
I think one of the things we all have to remember, too, is like people can be critical of their decision making, but not be like FSG out. Like, I'm not an FSG out person.
You can absolutely be critical, and that's fair too.
I'm not an FSG out person in any way.
But
I
the
think they run the
FSG out
club
crowd, I think we're
brilliantly.
all in agreement that that's like
Yeah,
that's
that's
a little
nuts.
insane.
That's nuts. You're out of your
FSG
mind.
out.
Like they won us a freaking title.
Yeah.
They've done everything that they said that they were going to do. They're going to continue to expand Anfield. They rebuilt the training. They've done a lot, and I think that I wouldn't have anybody else in charge of the club. I just think that there are moments where they make some key mistakes. Like we all felt in 2012, not spending £4 million on Clint Dempsey was a massive mistake. And then you went a couple months later and we had no strikers because Suarez was out suspended. We played a 5-5 against Fulham. I'll never forget that game. No, we crushed them, but it was like Kenny Dalglish was having to get super creative with shit just because they didn't want to buy Clint Dempsey.
Oh, and by the way, if they had bought Clint
Rodgers,
Dempsey, they would have lost Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I get it.
You gotta remember these things.
I get that.
We can
but
look
at
at
the
it
time,
now. But at the time,
you were like in a rage about it, right?
Yeah.
So like it may play out. It may
Right.
play out where this is the exact same thing, right? We're gonna look at it a year from now and go, well, that was the right move.
Yeah.
What if we would have spent 80
But-
million on a Harry Maguire? Wow, we'd be really in a bad
But
place.
I think there's also moments where like they should just be a little bit more flexible with their because you're like if you sign a center back right now, you're gonna lose literally nobody. Like no one's gonna be like, oh, I'm out the squad. They signed a center back, except for what, like Nat Phillips. Like, well, on your way, son, because you're not gonna play in here anyways. So for me, like this is one of those moments where just like listen to your manager, back him however he needs it. I mean, obviously not to the tune of 80 million, but can you dig up 20?
Yeah.
Like,
Pay the
we're
bus
at a
fare for the
crossroads.
first year and a half. Everyone understands COVID. Like, God damn it.
Because that's
man.
the other thing is like, as much as people know we need a center back, we also know other teams need money.
Yeah.
And other teams that are looking for that money know we need a center back.
Buy a
So
fucking
Exactly.
center back
Yeah.
in France.
But
All
it's,
those French
sometimes you
clubs
get
have
into a
no money.
negotiation and you go, hey, do you want 30 million pounds or not? Because that's the offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
And
mean,
some
we'll
of
see.
these
We
teams would have to
still
crack.
at this point have a week left, just about 5 days before the end of the transfer deadline. But FSG are asking everyone to trust the process, and we're saying, hell no, go buy a center back.
All right, Tom Brady will be
all
fine.
right. So guys, we actually do have a game that we're not going to spend much time talking about. Liverpool
50
and
seconds.
Tottenham are playing on Thursday. This is Wednesday, and we spent the whole time talking about the thing I promised myself we weren't going to talk about, buying a center back. But Liverpool and Tottenham play. And guys, the first game was an exciting one, a 2-1 win. Liverpool get the winner. A Roberto Firmino header at the end goes toward the cop end. Oh, because we actually had fans for that game, and no fans are going to be in London at the new White Hart Lane, if you want to call it that. So, guys, what are you expecting for Liverpool and Tottenham? Tottenham are coming in, actually did play on Monday in the FA Cup against Wickham. What are we thinking out of this matchup? Liverpool, we know the form they've been in. Tottenham, they've been okay. What are you guys thinking?
They have a really good counterattack based on Klopp's press conference today, where he kind of said, that he basically hinted that, he let them go on Sunday to see, kind of rediscover their form, but he probably is going to play a little bit more conservatively. So I half expect, Fabinho and Matip to play because Matip trained, Henderson trained, Henderson be in the midfield, which would be great. And then I'd expect it to be somewhat open, but also a little kind of like the last 2 or 3 times we've played them, where it's very careful. Don't let them break on you. Don't let Son get in behind you. It's basically, it's going to be the MO. Keep them, because they're one of the fastest counterattacking teams in the league. So it's going to be MO. Keep them contained on that. And then, just be yourselves in the attacking third as much as you can. And hopefully we can find some goals from somewhere.
A couple of goals in the FA Cup against Manchester
That was so
United.
fucking depressing, man.
Yeah, that was a game where we saw the counterattack eat up Liverpool, particularly down their left flank. Liverpool's right. Reece Williams isolated against Rashford. No bueno. So hopefully we do not see him one-on-one, or whoever's at center back one-on-one with Son all too often. Andrew, what are you kind of thinking is the key to Liverpool getting out of this funk and getting a win against Tottenham?
Well, first of all, Darius, I just want to say I see you there speaking that Spanish, and I like that.
Un
I
poquito.
appreciate that. That's really nice.
Solamente un poquito.
I love it so much. Anyway, no. So I see Jose playing another park the bus situation. Obviously, even though it's at home, it's a bit weird because you would think that we're a wounded animal and all that. He should get at us and everything. It'd be interesting to see their players and how they react to obviously what's going to happen from that perspective. But for me, it's what David said. Matip did train. Henderson's going to be in the midfield, hopefully. If not, he's going to have some type of cameo, I would imagine. For me, we have to dick him. It's as simple as that. We have to dick this small club. The reason being is because if we do, yes, they are a small club. Don't fucking get it twisted.
You know this is going to be clipped.
No, listen, they are a fucking small club. It's fine. It's all fine. Not everyone can be big. It's fine. But
you made so many friends last time you said that, by the way.
Listen to me very carefully, though. If we win this game, I think we immediately get that confidence back.
Yeah, agreed.
Because then we go to Moyes next week. We show the football genius what football is, right? And then after that, I think we got Brighton, and then I think
and then City,
and then City, right. So, and then I think we go on a run, but we have to win this game. No draws, no close, no. Oh, we had 20 shots, but 2 on target and a VAR. No, we have to get the 3 points here. It's paramount because at the moment we're basically in 7th. We got to move up the fucking table. This is not about the title anymore. It can be about the title if we win this game, and I think the boys can be up for that because this is Jose Mourinho. Nobody liked Jose Mourinho, so I think that we can get up for it. They'll be fine in terms of all that. Hopefully, Trent. I think it's going to be very important for Trent and Robbo to have a good game. If one of them has a game, then we're fucked. It's as simple as that. Based on our system. That being said, if we play a different system, then what I just said goes out the window.
We're not going to change the system for this.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's almost like a Brexit midfield situation. Almost. Except that we're facing a low block slide. I can't say that damn thing.
Low block.
There you go. Low block. Small club.
I like low block slide.
Low block slide. It sounds like a damn.
We'll be at the end of a slide when some Bach is coming down.
Electro
like
slide.
Amber Bach or something.
Anyway, that's what I see, man. And hopefully I'm gonna be at the bar. Shout out to Wild Rover. Come out. Right. But yeah, man. Fuck, man. If we don't win this, I definitely calling damn therapist. Like 1,000%. 1,000%.
Well, last year at Tottenham, it was 1-0. I think all of us would bite your hand off for a goal return of even one.
I'll clean your house. I'll clean your motherfucking house for a month and a half.
All right, guys. So goals, predictions. David, what are you saying?
1-1.
Oh, fuck you, David. Fuck you, David.
And
I usually pick us to win, but I just we'll see. I don't know.
Nah. Fuck that. Well, okay, listen. Shout out to whoever says this first. I'm gonna buy you.
You've got 15 seconds. Let's go.
Dunkin' Donuts 1-0. Whoever wants it, they get that. Dunkin' Donuts.
I almost said 1-0. But
1-0. That's it.
I feel like
I'm gonna say 2-1 again, except this time it's gonna be too early, and then Tottenham score and we crap our pants. But Liverpool get the victory.
Comment if you want Dunkin' Donuts.
Good luck with that. All right, I'm Darius.
I'm David.
I'm Andrew. Bye.
Oh, and we're nervous, but excited because of the Reds every single time. We love the Liverpool. We do. See you next time.
Next time.
Oh, my God.